Hello everyone, welcome back to Love Arcana Vault. Today, we're opening the vault on what this person is about to confess because the energy is already coming in restless. Someone here has a lot they want to say, but they don't know where they stand with you anymore. And the first card we have is the Turkey, grounding. Right away, this is giving me someone who is trying very hard to act normal. They're trying to look calm, practical, maybe even unbothered, but emotionally, no. Underneath that calm little mask, there's a whole storm cellar rattling. This person may be watching you from a distance, but they're trying to convince themselves they're just checking, just curious, just seeing what you're doing. But no, this feels deeper. They're looking for signs. They're looking for clues. They're asking themselves, are they happier without me? Are they seeing someone else? Did I really lose my chance? Let me see. Because with grounding, I feel like you are the one who has become more centered. You're not moving the way you used to move. You're not chasing answers. You're not reacting so quickly. And that change in you is shaking them more than any argument ever could. Yeah, see, this is what I'm getting. They expected you to stay emotionally available, even if you were quiet, even if you stepped back. They thought your energy would still be waiting at the door with a lantern. But now that door feels closed. Maybe not locked, but definitely not wide open, and that's where the panic begins. For some of you, this person is assuming you've moved on because you're not posting sadness, you're not begging for closure, you're not sending paragraphs. You may simply be living, healing, working, resting, glowing in a very quiet way. And somehow, that peace is louder to them than any dramatic post could be. Tell me more about the Turkey. This card carries this energy of someone realizing the value of what they had only after the table is empty. It's like they took your love, your patience, your warmth, your emotional generosity, and thought it would always be there. But now they're looking around, and without your presence, their life feels strangely cold. There's also pride here, heavy pride. They may have acted like they didn't need you. They may have tried to distract themselves, maybe with work, friends, another connection, or just silence. But the silence didn't heal them. It made the truth louder. And the truth is they haven't moved on. They're still energetically circling your name, still wondering, still checking, still replaying the moment where they should have said more, done more, chosen better. But there's something they're not saying yet. The confession is not just, I miss you. It's bigger than that. This person may need to admit they were emotionally immature. They may need to admit they ran from the connection because it required honesty, responsibility, and vulnerability. And now they're realizing you were never asking for too much. You were asking for respect. Why is grounding here? Because you are becoming harder to emotionally knock over. You're not as triggered anymore. That's the part they don't know how to handle. Before, they may have known exactly which button to press, exactly what silence would do, exactly how to pull you back into the loop. But now your energy feels different, steadier, cleaner, less available for confusion, and that makes them feel like time is running out. I'm seeing someone hovering over a message, deleting it, rewriting it, then backing out. They want to confess, but they're afraid your response will be calm, not angry, not dramatic, just calm. And for this person, your calmness might be the scariest answer of all. So the opening message is clear. They are trying to ground themselves because emotionally, they are falling apart without the version of you that used to hold everything together. And now, as we move from the Turkey into the next card, I want to see what they think you know and what they're secretly afraid you've already figured out. And the second card coming through is the Eagle, freedom. Yeah, see, this is interesting because now we have grounding and then we have freedom. So your energy is not just stable. It's rising above the whole situation. You're not buried in the confusion the same way anymore. You're seeing more. You're understanding more. And this person feels that. They feel like you have pulled your energy up and away from the emotional mess they left behind. Let me see. With the Eagle here, this person is afraid that you've gained a higher perspective on them. They're afraid you can see the pattern now. Not just the sweet moments, not just the chemistry, not just the memories, the pattern, the inconsistency, the silence, the way they disappeared emotionally when things needed to become real. And that is what they think you know. They think you know they cared more than they admitted. They think you know they were watching. They think you know their silence was not peace, it was fear. But this is where it gets interesting, because the eagle also feels like distance, someone watching from above, someone observing without landing. So this person may be keeping tabs on you, but not directly touching the ground, not fully entering your life. They're circling, they're looking, they're studying your movements. For some of you, yes, this can be social media, checking your page, your stories, your likes, who comments, who you follow, who follows you, and even if they don't have access to you directly, they may be finding little windows, mutual friends, old photos, shared playlists, anything that lets them feel close without having to be vulnerable. And the next part feels very specific. They may be making assumptions from very small things. If you post a picture looking good, they think, okay, somebody else is seeing this. If you're quiet, they think, they're done with me. If you seem peaceful, they think, they don't need me anymore. And honestly, that last one is the one that really gets them. They are not just afraid that you moved on. They are afraid that you got free. Because if you are free from needing their explanation, free from waiting on their apology, free from trying to decode their behavior, then what do they have left to control? Nothing. And I don't mean control in a cartoon villain way. I mean emotionally. They knew the connection still had a thread. They knew there was something they could tug on. But now that thread feels loose in their hands. Tell me more about the eagle. There's regret here, but it's quiet regret. This isn't someone who is fully falling apart in public. They may still look fine. They may still go to work, post normally, laugh with people, act like everything is regular. But internally, they keep returning to you. The mind keeps flying back. They reread something. They remember your voice. They think about how patient you were. They wonder if they misjudged how long you would stay open to them. And then they check again. They look again. They try to figure out if you're still emotionally reachable. There's something about your silence that is making them panic. Because before, maybe your emotions gave them confirmation. Even if you were upset, at least they knew you still cared. But now, if you're not reacting, if you're not asking, if you're not chasing, they don't know what to do with that. Your calmness is not giving them a map. And this is what I'm getting. They feel locked out of your inner world. They don't know what you feel anymore. They don't know if you miss them. They don't know if you hate them. They don't know if you're indifferent. And somehow, indifference scares them more than anger, because anger still has heat. Indifference feels like a door closing softly. Why is freedom here? Because they sense that you are choosing yourself in a way they didn't expect. You may be taking your peace seriously now. You may be protecting your energy. You may be saying less because you already learned enough. And this person is realizing that your silence is not weakness. It's a boundary. They are wondering if you've already figured out that they were emotionally immature, that they avoided the conversation, that they wanted the benefits of your love without the responsibility of showing up properly. And the confession energy is starting to build, but it's still behind glass. It's there. It's close. But they're watching first because they're trying to predict the outcome. They want to know if you'll reject them. They want to know if you're with someone else. They want to know if the version of you that loved them is still somewhere inside that calm, free, elevated person they're looking at now. So, now that we've moved from grounding into freedom, I want to take this deeper, because this is where the energy starts shifting from watching into wanting to act. Let me look at the main spread. And the card coming through here is the Moose, authority. Yeah, this is the part. Because now we're moving from your grounding, your freedom, into their need to finally take responsibility. The Moose feels strong, but it also feels heavy. This is someone who may have wanted to stay in control of the situation, control the timing, control the conversation, control how much emotion they showed, control whether you knew they were still affected. But what you don't see coming is that control is starting to crack. Let me see. In the first position, I'm getting their outer energy. They may still be presenting themselves as composed, like they're fine, like they have everything handled. But the Moose is carrying weight. This is not light energy. This is someone walking around with pride on their shoulders and regret under their ribs. Tell me more. The second position feels like regret. And it's not just regret over losing you. It's regret over how they handled your heart when they had access to it. They may be realizing that you were not the issue. You were the stable one. You were the one trying to build something honest, something respectful, something with a foundation. and they treated that like it could wait. For some of you, they made you feel like an option without ever wanting to lose you. That's the strange thing here. They didn't want to fully commit, but they also didn't want you to be free. They wanted the comfort of knowing you cared while they figured themselves out, but now you're not standing in the same place, and that changes everything. Why is the moose here? Because this person is being pushed into accountability, not by you forcing them, not by you chasing, not by you demanding. It's your absence, your calmness, your silence. That is what's forcing them to look at themselves. And the third position is nostalgia. I'm seeing someone thinking about the old version of the connection, the jokes, the conversations, the way you made them feel seen, the way you understood things they didn't even explain fully. They miss that. They miss being able to come into your energy and feel accepted, but now there's a gate there. Not a cruel gate, a necessary one, and they know they can't just walk back in casually. Now here's the confession energy. Their next move, for many of you, is a confession. And this doesn't feel like a tiny, safe little message either. This feels like someone admitting something they have avoided saying for a long time. They may tell you they made a mistake. They may tell you they got scared. They may admit they ran away when the connection became too real. They may admit they were emotionally immature and that they watched you more than they ever let on. Yeah, see, that watching energy is still here, even with the moose, even with authority. There's this sense of someone trying to stand tall while secretly checking to see if someone else is standing beside you now. They fear replacement. They fear that while they were being silent, someone else learned how to treat you better. Someone else may be giving you attention. Someone else may be making you laugh. And whether that's true or not, they are building stories in their mind because they do not have access to your inner world anymore. This is what I'm getting without you. They are falling apart, but not in a loud way. It's more like their daily life still functions, but something inside feels unsteady. They can't ground the same way. They can't distract the same way. They keep returning to the thought of you. And the part that shocks them is that you are not reacting the way they expected. They expected emotion. They expected questions. They expected maybe a little door still open. But your peace is making them wonder if they waited too long. The fourth position feels like a blocked connection. There is energy here of wanting to come forward but stopping at the edge. Their pride says, don't look desperate. Their fear says, they'll reject you. Their regret says, you need to say something before it's too late. So they're caught. And this is why the confession is building pressure. Because silence used to protect them, but now silence is punishing them. It's making them imagine the worst. It's making them watch harder. It's making them feel the distance more. For some of you, take it how it resonates. This person may already have typed something out, maybe not sent it, maybe saved it, maybe deleted it. But the emotional truth is right there, sitting behind their pride. And the moose says they know they need to come correctly. Not vague, not casual, not, hey, how have you been like nothing happened? They know this requires maturity, accountability, respect. So before we get into the exact energy of what they want to say, I need to pause here and ask what is actually blocking this. Because the desire to confess is here, but something is still holding them at the edge. What's blocking this? Let me see, because now that we have the turkey, the eagle, and the moose all together, the block is very clear. Grounding, freedom, authority. You got stable, you got free, and now they have to come in with maturity. But they're not sure they have the right to anymore. Yeah, see, the block is fear. Not just fear of speaking, fear of what your silence means. For some of you, this person thinks you may be dating. They may think someone else has your attention, or that someone else is seeing the version of you they didn't appreciate properly. Even if there is no one else, in their mind, there's a possibility. And that possibility is eating at them. The turkey shows you grounded, not scrambling. The eagle shows them watching from a distance. The moose shows the pressure on them to finally act like an adult in the room. And that is uncomfortable for someone who stayed silent too long. This is what I'm getting. They are ashamed. Not in a dramatic way where they want everyone to see their pain, more like they know, privately, that they could have handled you better. They could have given clarity. They could have respected your heart instead of leaving you to guess. And now they feel like they lost authority in your life. They don't know if their words still matter to you. That's the block. Now, let me pull these message cards, because if pride stepped out of the way for just one moment, this is the kind of truth that would come through. Thinking of you? Yeah, constantly. This is not one random memory. This is someone who keeps coming back to your energy when the day gets quiet. Miss you. But this feels like missing your presence, your patience, your emotional warmth. They miss the way you cared before you had to protect yourself. Confession. There it is. They want to say something real. They want to admit the part they kept hidden. And for many of you, that hidden part is, I was scared, but I still cared. Fear. That fear is connected to rejection. They're afraid you'll be polite. They're afraid you'll be calm. They're afraid you'll say, I understand, and still not let them back in. Mistake. They know they made one. The mistake was not just losing you. The mistake was assuming you would stay emotionally available while they avoided accountability. Watching, again, the energy keeps repeating. They may have watched your page, watched your silence, watched your glow up, watched to see if you were becoming happy without them. Walk away. This could be what you did, or what they fear you've fully done. They feel like you walked away from the version of them that kept you confused. Take a break, for some of you. The distance was necessary. It gave you your nervous system back. It gave you peace. It helped you remember that love is not supposed to feel like constantly waiting for a weather report. Respect. That's the word sitting underneath the whole reading. You didn't just want attention. You wanted respect, consistency, honesty. Something that didn't make you question your worth. Someone from the past. Yes, this feels like them. Someone returning with unfinished words, secretly watching. They may not admit that part first, but it's here. They've been observing more than they've been speaking. Still not over you, and that is the final thread. They are not over you, but you may be further along in your healing than they expected. Now, listen. This is where your power comes in. You're not as triggered anymore. You may not react the way they expect. The old version of you might have rushed to understand them, comfort them, make space for their pain, but this version of you is calmer, more grounded, more selective. They expected you to wait, but you started choosing yourself. And your peace is what makes them panic. So when this confession comes in, because the energy is strongly pointing towards someone wanting to admit the truth, just remember, desperation is not the same as change. Begging is not automatically love. Regret is not always transformation. Watch their actions. Watch whether they can respect your boundaries. Watch whether they come in with accountability or just emotion. Because for some of you, there may also be a new love option or someone better aligned with your current energy. And that is part of why this person feels the pressure. They can sense that you are not standing still anymore. So yes, this person is about to confess. They are not doing well without you. They are secretly watching. They regret not giving enough. They fear you're moving on, but you are stronger now, calmer now, harder to reach in the way you used to be. And that may be the real twist. They are finally ready to speak, but you may no longer be waiting by the door. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.